right now, record button has been hit. So we are going to be making this cute little mini. The one exception that we have to what you're going to see here is that we are going to be using the Rondelle papers from Prima rather than the Fairy Belle. But I think you're going to like it just as well. Both the collections are super yummy. So to start with, we have the little metal gate. And I use the toile here just as a background for the gate to give a little more dimension. There's lots of little Prima Yummies in here. Then you're going to open this up, and it houses, look at all these pictures. How cute is this? And then it has a nice little journal spot here for these photographs. Then it's going to open up again this way, where it houses another set of photographs. And this is optional. If you wanted to leave this one solid piece, you could. And then I also have included a couple of tags, so you've got some extra real estate for photographs here, and then a place for journaling here. This album would make an awesome Christmas gift for a family member, like a mother or a grandmother. But then, when you close it all up, you can flip it over, and you have room for more photographs here. And then a larger photograph could go here. Yes, I added the photos after I did the original photographs, because I didn't want my sister-in-laws to see that I had done this with them, because there's going to be their Christmas present. But see, this will open this way to view that, and then open up here. So it might be a really small mini, but it's packed full of real estate here. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I've already done some of this to kind of save a little bit of time, but you're going to have to choose a piece of paper, a cardstock, and you want a really nice thick cardstock. And I'm using a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And I had originally said it was going to take 2 of these, but I think it's only going to take 1 if we do it right. So what we've done is I've cut the cardstock in half, so you have a 6 by 12 sheet and then a second 6 by 12 sheet. So this is the 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Then you're going to take and you're going to score it at 3 inches, and then you're going to score it again at 6 inches, so that you end up with a 6-inch panel that has now been scored in half. Everybody following me so far? Then you have, this is the other half of the 12 by 12 paper. You're going to cut off a 6-inch by 6-inch panel, and then the other 6 by 6-inch panel, you're going to score it in half, so it's at 3 inches. You need me to repeat it. Okay, so you ended up with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, you cut it in half. So now you have a 6-inch by 12-inch sheet of paper. Now you're going to score one of the panels, one of the 2 6-inch panels, you're going to score it 3 inches and score it 6 inches. Then you end up with, basically, if you fold it in half and then fold one of the panels in half again, you have what you need. Does that make sense? Then you have the other panel, you're going to cut it in half, so you have a 6 by 6, and then you're going to take the other 6 by 6 and fold it in half. Okay? So these are the pieces and parts. Now we're going to take the 2 panels that are folded in half, and we're going to find the 2 3/4 inch mark. So I'm just going to grab a pencil, and I'm going to mark it at 2 3/4 inches right there. And on this other half one, I'm going to do the same thing. Mark it at 2 3/4 inches. Make sure it's going in the right direction before you do that. You want the folded ends towards the inside. So 2 3/4 inches. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the one that I scored, and it's kind of like this. You've got the, what is this, the mountain and then the valley, like that. You're going to open it up, and you're going to take your ruler, and you're going to find the center point of the 6-inch mark right here, and you're going to line it up there, and then line it up with your pencil mark right here. And if you have to, I'm using black cardstock, so I'm going to just mark it with my pencil so I see it. And you're going to cut along that edge. I'm so paranoid over the record button. It's crazy. I keep looking up to see if I got it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that off. Now this is going to go to the side. You can probably use it for something else later. So now this is what you have. Everybody see it? Okay, so now on the next one, you want to make sure your folded edge is towards the middle of the paper. It's going to go this way. So you want to open it up, and of course, wait. You're going to open it up, and you're going to do the same thing on this side, but you're going to go in the opposite direction so that it's, you know, your flap is to the inside. If you cut it going the wrong way, at this stage you can just flip it upside down and it'll be fine. Okay, so now this is what we have. We have a panel that's been cut. Are we still frozen? Hi Jordy, I see you made it. You found the link. Okay, now this is the tricky part right here. We got to get it all to come back together. And of course, I didn't cut it right because that's Murphy's Law, isn't it? I don't think I got my angle right. Hold on a minute. See, this is what happens. This is live. Did it come down? Oh, I measured from the wrong way. Wait, maybe if I turn it inside out, it'll work. No. Nope, not gonna work. Gotta cut it again. Hold on a minute. See, even people who are measurement challenged can do this. Okay, now we're working. So now you're going to pick out the paper that you want, and you are going to go ahead and decide which panels you want on the back and which ones you want on the front. Now if you ordered the kit, we have the Rondelle paper, and it is going to be it's really pretty. It's like a peachy color. I'm going to get it out for you. Just a second. Hold on. I'm having to get my paper all lined up. So this is the Rondelle paper, and it's super beautiful. And I know I want this to be on my gates in the front because it has that kind of really nice gate fence look to it. Hey Jade, we just got started, girl. So I know I want this to be in the front. So this is going to be my front panel. And I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half. And these came from the 6x6 paper pad. So I know that, let's see, I'm going to line it up with the 3" on the grid, and I'm just going to go ahead and slice that right in half. And for me, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I've got all of this lined up just right. And these panels are going to go right here on the front, right there, just like that. But first we got to cut them, so hold on just a minute. Then we'll take, I'm going to see which ones I want to go in here on the inside panels, because you're going to be able to see it and it's going to compete with what is here with this pattern. I want to make sure that it actually looks nice with it, and I think this is the one that I want. So, and the reason I'm going ahead and cutting all of this out at one time is this way I don't end up cutting something that I don't want to cut. I always like to lay everything out first, make sure I've got everything going in the right direction before I start gluing things down, because I have like major commitment issues. I don't know if you guys do or not, but so I know that this is going to go in here just like this. Then I'm going to work on, and I've got these two covered up. So now I'm going to work on these two panels right here. And they can be from the same cut as well, but I also want to decide at this point, this panel is going to get covered up by this panel. So I want to make sure whatever I put on these two inside panels is going to match. So I want to make sure that nothing competes with each other. And I think I really like, for this panel, I think I'm really going to like this one here. So I might go, instead of going with a floral for both sides, I think on this one I'm going to go ahead and use these hexagons, because they just have a really nice soft pattern and it doesn't compete with this pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the hexagons in half. Make sure before you cut these in half that your text is going in the right direction, because that's the worst thing in the world, is to find out you cut it going the wrong way. Okay, and then this is going to lift up, this panel is going to lift up, and you're going to have two more solid pieces here. And I believe I want these, I want this to be this little hummingbird, and I'm thinking I might want to go with maybe this black here at the bottom. So now I have it laid out which way I want to go with this, and I have one more panel that I need to add to the back. So on the back, tuck all this inside. On the back I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media stuff, and I'm going to put like a little brick wall or something. So I'm thinking I might want to go with this one that has these beautiful flowers along the edge, and then I'm going to put the brick wall here in the center. So it'll have time to dry while I'm messing with all this other stuff. I'm going to take all the other pieces and I'm going to move them over here out of the way. We're going to use this for embellishments a little later on, but I've got all my pieces cut. See how fast that all came together? Put all that up there out of the way, and let's go ahead and do our mixed media piece. So for now I got my cutting thing out of the way. Now I'm going to take my brick stencil and my molding paste. Make sure your words are going in the right direction. And like I said last week, I put my modeling paste into a different container so it doesn't dry out if I accidentally leave the lid off. And this is the lightweight modeling paste, and it has a really nice whipped texture to it. It's almost like you're dealing with cake frosting. So I am going to cover up my stencil, and I'm only going to hit this in certain spots. I don't necessarily want a lot here. I don't want it to be even, and I don't want it super thick. Like I said last time, I like to do things in stages so that they have time to dry naturally on their own. But see how nice that just adds a little bit of texture to this? It gives a little bit of life to it, and then once it's dry, we'll go over it a little bit with some inks and kind of tone it down a little bit, because it is a bit white. but it just adds it has that garden feel to it. So I'm going to put this one to the side, and we'll come back to it after it's had time to dry a little bit. And then I'm also going to take my 2 gate panels, because I also put a little bit of modeling paste on them. Now remember that we're going to cut the tops of them off, so I'm only going to put it down here in the bottom region of this. And I want to make sure get it lined up right. I want my patterns to stay going in the right direction. So I'm going to just put my stencil down, grab a little bit more, and I'm going to turn this so I can see it. And again, I'm going to put a little bit more right in here. Don't worry about the top, because it's going to get cut off after a while. And this stuff will dry super fast because we're putting it on very light. I'm using a popsicle stick. These are my favorite. I use them all the time. I'm not much on cleaning up my tools. They're always a disaster. Never buy a tool after me. But because of that, I use these and I throw them away. They're disposable. And then what you don't see is that I have a bucket of water down here under my desk, and I am going to put my stencil into that bucket of water. If I were in here crafting, I would just put it away, or I would go ahead and go clean it off. You don't want to leave this modeling paste on your stencils. It will ruin them. And you know, I'm all about saving that money if you can on a product that is, you know, that you really want, not replacing products. So I'm going to put that to the side for now. And those are the only panels that I plan on putting modeling paste on. So I'm going to let those dry, and we're going to continue to put our book together. Now, to put my book together, in your kits you receive some washi tape. You can use the washi tape if you would like, or you can, let's see if this goes back together just like this. You can use the washi tape if you like, or you can do masking tape. I happen to have black masking tape. I found it at a local craft store, or a local art store, excuse me. It's probably very rare and hard to find, but you could also use Scotch tape if you wanted to. We're going to hinge these pieces together with this tape, and you're not going to see it in the end, so you don't have to be super careful with it. You could use the Tim Holtz tape if you wanted to, any kind of washi tape. I suggest something that's, if you're using black cardstock, that matches your black cardstock, but if you're not going to, then you know what, just go with something that is like the Timmy tape that has the print on it. Well, I can't even see straight tonight. I think it's the black. I'm not getting anything lined up right. Okay, there we go. And then you're going to take this and you're going to fold it over this way. And you're not going to see these. And see how that black tape just kind of disappears on there. You don't even see it. You can't even notice it. Then on this side, even though this is already hinged, I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side, because it was already put together, and there was no need but this adds like a little bit of reinforcement since we're not adding chipboard. This tape will kind of help these hinges to stay together, and they won't rip as easily. Okay, so is everybody clear on how that came together? And then this is going to pull out like this. Then I'm going to take the center piece, the other piece of black, and it's going to lay right here across the top. And again, it's going to get hinged. Now, because this one is going to open from the top like it is, I'm going to go ahead and hinge it from the inside and the outside. I think it's my Timmy mat. The tape is sticking to my mat, and if you find, you know, some papers are not created equal, and you may find, like with this one in this case, that this paper is not exactly 6 by 6, even though I cut it in half. You may have to trim just a hair off of it to get it to go inside the hinge inside, and that's fine, because with the extra bulk cutting about a 1/16 of an inch off is not going to hurt anything at all. In fact, it'll probably help for the album to close after there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now that's going to be hinged together like that. Then I'm going to open this up and I'm going to put another piece of tape just right here and right here to reinforce these edges. And don't worry about this because we're going to cover this all up with paper, so you're not going to see it. Now we pretty much have our album together. All we have to do is decorate it. And I'm just going to take these and just kind of fold them back and forth a couple of times. Make sure that they're good and creased. Now it's time to start adding our paper. Now on this paper that I wanted to put here on the inside panel, right here, it looks like I might have to cut just a hair off of it. Not a lot. Well, not a lot. Just a little tiny bit. This is the hardest part of this entire album, guys. It really is. And once you get going, it's so easy. It's just decorating, and decorating for me is just like all downhill. Now with the fairy bell, I looked at the design and I thought, you know, it'd be nice to be able to tuck a photograph inside of here. And that way this design wouldn't get lost behind the photograph. So I'm going to do that now. And all I do is I just kind of come in here about 3/4 of the way, or about 1/4 of the way, 3/4 of the way, whichever way you happen to be looking. And I'm just going to kind of trace around the design. And you don't have to be exact. You don't have to be perfect with it. I say if you leave a little bit of a margin, then the little pieces don't end up getting cut off or worn over time with fussing, you know, pulling images in and out. And you're not going to cut all the way to the edge. You're only going to cut around the design till it gets to like a little bit of the border, like right in here. And see how that pocket has opened up now, and it's easy for me to take a photograph and just slip it right inside so that I gain a little bit more of the design without having the bulk of added things on the paper. You would have cut off your finger. I doubt you would have cut off your finger, but it just takes practice. It takes practice. If you press too hard with a craft knife, it's very difficult to get it to glide good. I don't like the swivel ones because they just turn too much for me. It does take practice, I know, but you could, if you're not comfortable with a craft knife, you could just kind of put a little slit in here and then come in with your scissors and just follow along the edge. You definitely could do that. I also want to go ahead and distress my edges, and this is so cool because this is gonna take almost no time with this tool. I love my Prima tool. And I don't care if it rips up a little bit. I kind of actually prefer that look because it gives it a little character. And I love to fold back and let it, you know, just naturally do its thing. Now to save time, I am not going to use any distress inks or anything like that along the edges because it just takes so much time. But if you wanted that extra detail, it definitely would be, you know, a nice touch. And I really think that Tim Holtz's Tattered Rose would be the perfect color for this paper collection. So if you're using this, you know, that would be a great color. And then I'm also going to kind of rough this edge up right here. Now, one thing I did not show you, and I don't want to do it on this mat. Let me find something I can do it on. One thing I did not show you about this tool last time is that this right here is awesome for taking this and pulling these back up like this. And you can actually really get in there and, you know, saw at this paper and really distress it. See, like where I ripped that really good right there? I'm not going to sweat those small stuff like that. I'm going to let that naturally rip where it wants to rip. And I'm just going to take advantage of that rip and pull it back and maybe put a pearl or something in there. So this is what I'm left with. And it's absolutely perfect for me. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue that down because that page is officially finished. But when you glue this down, you want to make sure that you do not glue inside where this pocket is, because remember you have a photograph to go there. So the easiest way for me to do it is I'm going to take this just like this. I'm going to fold it this way. I know I need to leave this strip. I don't want to put glue here. Let me pull this back up. I think I'm out of frame a little bit. So much stuff. I cannot work unless I'm in like seriously, a 4-inch space. I'm going to put glue just around the edges, but I'm going to avoid the edges around the rest of the paper, because what I really want is that to continue to tatter out a little bit. I'm putting glue along the top part where I cut it, and then I'm going to just kind of come in about maybe a 1/4 inch or so from the edge. And I told you guys last week I do that on purpose because I really want my edge to continue to fray, and that just kind of helps them do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down. And see, now that I've got this glued down, and I'm serious, I cannot see worth a flip, so I hope I'm getting this straight. But when I glue this down, you don't even notice the masking tape. The masking tape is completely gone. And I still have room for my photograph to slip right inside. See? I've created a pocket, and I really love how I've allowed the imagery to be my embellishment along here. And we can add more to this later as we go, but for now I'm going to call this page finished. Then I'm going to go on to this panel. Since I've got this open, I thought I'd go ahead and work on these 2 panels. And I'm going to take I had the other 2 sheets already cut. We decided to go with this little polka dot right here. I really love how that looks. So I'm going to just take my glue and I'm going to apply my glue to the smallest surface that you have, which in this case is here. Now, if you wanted to put pockets in, now would be the time to think about your pockets. And I'm going to look at my sample because I believe I did have some pockets in here somewhere, but not on this particular panel. But if you wanted to do pockets, then you would just go ahead and add your glue along the edge and not at the top. Okay? So now I'm going to take this and put it on here, and I did leave room for a pocket, and I'll show you how that, before you do that, go ahead and distress it. With this printer tool, you can also distress more than 1 page at a time. Go ahead and distress that, put that on there. Then I'm going to take, I don't know, let's see, this is going to be, I got that too close to the edge, and it wouldn't fold. This panel right here is going to be my brick, and it's still drying. It's not quite dry yet, so we're going to leave that one alone. And I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to use this as my guide for cutting off this piece. Do not throw this piece away, because we're going to use it later on for other embellishments inside of our book. Okay, so now we have this, and again, I'm going to take this, since we made it into a pocket in this one, and I'm going to kind of slice right into that right there. Just kind of rip it in, and I'm going to kind of pull it down. And that's going to let me know that there is actually a pocket there, and something else can go in there. We can put one of the tags in there. See how we roll that around? And I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right there to hold that down. Same thing over here. So now I have a little pocket right here, and you can just put a basic tag right in there. See how that works? I'm having to fight it because I've got a little bit too much glue. We'd have to trim that down. But a tag would fit. Now we can take some of our extra paper and cut one that will fit. Now we're going to go over to this side. Same paper. Going to distress it. And I'm going to distress a couple of these at one time to show you that you can do more than one sheet at a time. Love this Prima tool. Absolutely love it. Again, make sure your text is going in the right direction. So this one is going to be here. And I'm going to put a little more glue in here. And I'm just using ATG glue. Stick it in there. I like the fact that the ATG will lift up. And I also like the fact that if I go over it and I get out of line a little bit, I can just take my finger and rub off the excess glue and it goes away. Then I'm going to cut it. If I had cut all these panels individually, I would have never been able to get this lined up. So to me, it's just easier to cut before I embellish. And I just go ahead with something like this. I'm going to cover all of the panels before I actually do the page, or before I start embellishing, simply because this gives me the opportunity to get everything cut and to fit. Again, I'm just rolling this back because for me, I like symmetry. If I do it to one side, I like to do it to the other as well. For you asymmetrical people, you may not want to do it that way. I'm just putting a little bit of glue here. I love my little peekaboo corners. Is everybody following me okay so far? Okay, so now this is what we have. Everything's coming together quite smoothly. Now we need to finish covering our panels here. And again, I think I want this one down here. I really like the way that looks. And, or do you guys like the hummingbird at the top and the black at the bottom, or put the hummingbird at the bottom? I don't know. I kind of like them both. Alright, so we have to cut just a little bit off the hummingbird down here at the bottom. Just a little bit, not a lot. But I think what I'm going to do is glue it down first and then come back and glue it. Now, on the hummingbird, actually, let me think this through. On the hummingbird, you want to have a pocket here. So I'm going to cut, but I'm not going to cut the entire thing in half. I'm only going to cut from like 1/4 of an inch from the top and 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, and just kind of leave a slit. And I'm thinking I don't want to cover that bird up. I'm thinking I'm not going to do I'm going to put the bird at the top. I'm going to cut this because this won't matter if I cut a little bit. I want to keep the bird. See, you have to think about these things when you're doing with paper that has a design on it. You have to think about the cuts before you do them. And again, I'm just going to use my guide here on my ruler and go only halfway. See? So now what I have is just a slit, but it's all connected here at the bottom, and I can tuck 2 tags in right here. But I do want this to be a little distressed, so I'm going to take my tool and I'm just going to kind of rub it back and forth across here. And this is where this tool, that it kind of curves a little bit, or you can, make it kind of curl in a little bit. Then you want to distress your edges again. Okay, now I'm going to take this one and it's going to go right here at the bottom of our page. And I'm encouraging this to lift just a little bit across this bottom. When you glue it down, you want to make sure you don't glue up your pocket. So you're just going to follow the perimeter of the page. Make sure you get your tags going in the right direction. And then this side is going to be open because this is where our pocket's going to be. So this side, no tape. You're going to put the tape on this side. Get it lined up, just like that. And now our tags will fit down in there. So everybody with me so far? So now we need to do the top part, and this panel, and the original one I had this slit open, but I found that there was really no reason to have it slit open. So I've decided that I'm not going to slit it with this version. It was one of those cases of I was trying to get as many pockets as I possibly could, but I found that the frame and all of that was getting in the way of the pocket. So, and I wanted to use that cool frame that comes with the kit. So this is going to go right there. We're going to add our glue. It's just going to be around the edges. This is like a super simple mini. This is proof that you can do a mini in less than 2 hours for sure. Make sure you get your bird going in the right direction. You don't want him to be off. And this is going to go right here. Isn't this gorgeous so far? Look at this. And I've got this a little off center here. Again, another reason why I really like the ATG glue is I can lift it up. I might need to stand up to get this level. It's hard to do work upside down. There we go. Okay, so there's our panel so far. Now it's time to add our brick. And we're going to make sure you get them going in the right direction. So this brick is going to go on this side. So again, I'm going to cover this with glue. Just like that. See how quick our brick stencil has dried? And I didn't use a heat tool. It just dries on its own. Then we're going to come over here and do the same thing. You know what I didn't do is I didn't distress this, but I don't think it's going to matter because you're not really going to see it too much, but you go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to cut these panels off. Keep these panels because we're going to use them. Like I said before, it's a lot easier to trim all this paper down whenever it's before you embellish it. So I wouldn't embellish each panel and then put the paper down because it just gets way too hard to try and trim it. Okay, so this is what we have so far. See, our minis starting to come together, and we might have to take this and kind of fold it and work with it just a little bit to get those hinges to work down because we just covered them up. So we're just going to keep like just kind of rub it with a bone folder or something right along in here, and I may want to trim just a hair off of this edge right here. It's sticking up. The best thing about distressing all these edges is that if you happen to cut it just a little bit too short or a little bit too, you know, you didn't cut enough of it off, with the distressed, ragged out edges, it's not as noticeable. Perfect. So everybody's seeing how it's all coming together now? And again, just take and encourage these to fold. So see how it's come together? Now it's time to do these panels. And I know I want this panel to have this design. But before I put it down, I want to make sure I have what I want seen in the panel. Because see, there's a lot of text here, and I might want that to be over on this side. So play around with the sides and make sure that you got it going the way you want it, because I really like seeing some of this text that's in here. And then on this side, I'm going to see maybe some of these flowers up here at the top. So, do you see what I'm saying? Really pay attention to your patterns and which directions they're going. With this Rondelle paper, what's so cool is some of the text is going up and down and some of it's going left to right. So it's easy to be able to flip it and do other things with it. Now on this panel, I definitely want to, I'm going to glue this one completely down on this side. So again, I'm just taking my ATG. Panel, and it's going to go right in here. And once again, I'm going to flip it over and we're going to cut this edge off. If you're not good with a craft knife, you will be by the time this class is over, for sure. Just make sure when you're cutting these edges off that you don't nick your corner over here. You don't want to do that. Just kind of once we get all of these panels covered, it's going to be so cool. The decorations are going to come together so fast. I'm an over taper. I tend to tape like crazy. Right? Somehow this panel didn't get distressed. Make sure if you distress that you're distressing everything. This paper would be really pretty, like I said, distressed with the tattered rose or also with the black soot. If you wanted to add a little definition to all of these edges. Normally, I'm not done until distress ink has been added. Okay, and now we need to do this panel. Now this panel is going to be a pocket for sure. So, I don't think we picked out a paper for those panels. So we need another paper, and this has a lot of gray in it. So I think I want to use something that has a really nice pattern to it. I think I want to use, I don't know if I want to use this, they kind of compete together. There's a nice polka dot in here. It's kind of a hexagon-y polka dot. Let's see how that looks. Oh, actually, this is the one I want right here. I like it because it's neutral. See how it doesn't compete with what's going on here? It kind of almost complements it. So, once again, I'm never going to line this up if I don't do this directly onto it. And I know I'm going to need to cut it in half first because I want to use the same one on both sides. So I'm going to just take this and cut it in half really quick so I don't mess up. I'm going to pay really close attention to the direction of the text because I want to make sure I get it glued down going in the right direction. Since I know I can distress with this tool, I can do more than one page at a time. I'm going to go ahead and do that to both panels. See how easy the distressing is with this? Some of these tools, it would have chewed it up or would have been loud, or it would have taken a really long time to get all these things distressed. And this is just coming together so smooth. Okay, so now I'm going to panel this. Now on this one is definitely going to be a pocket. So when I glue, I only want to glue 3 edges. So I'm going to glue here, I'm going to glue here, and I'm going to glue here. Now you could definitely have done some more of the molding paste throughout this album. If you wanted to get the book completely put together and then do the molding paste with the brick, I think carrying that brick pattern out through the entire book would be awesome. Unfortunately, in an hour or less, I really just don't have time for it to dry. So again, keep these little pieces, we're going to use them. So because of that, I'm just, I'm only going to distress a certain, I'm only going to, put the molding paste on certain pieces. Okay. You can't have one distressed and not distress the other. And I like to take them and kind of curl them down too. Okay. Now over this side, we only have 2 panels left to cover. So cool. Is everybody following along fine? I haven't had a chance to look up. Hi, Miranda. Does anybody have any questions? Suzanne, send me a PM if anybody has any questions and I'll try to answer them. Hi, Nancy! Oh my gosh! You made it! For the love of tennis, Miss Nancy. Okay, so here's our book. Isn't that cool how that all kind of came together? And seriously, was that not like the easiest thing ever? This would make a super cute card too, guys. Super cute, although that's a lot of effort for a card. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our back panel, and I'm just going to kind of glue that right on 100% on. I am going to have to distress the edges because I forgot to do that. But with that molding paste, I don't know if it's completely dry enough. Yep. Look at how cute this is. Okay, and I'm probably going to have to trim just a hair off that bottom. Again, it's just so much easier to do all this trimming after the pages are glued down than it is to try and glue them all. I don't know if y'all realize this or not, but 12 by 12 paper is not always 12 by 12 paper. There are some that are 12 1/4, 12 1/8, 12 1/2. Same thing with 6x6. Sometimes by the time you distress it and do everything to it, they're not all created equal. So now these are the pages of our book. This is how it came together. We have our brick panel on the front. We have a pocket up here at the top of each one of these. When you open it up, you're going to see this. Then you're going to see this. Look at how stinking cute this is. You got your little hummingbird down here in the corner. Then you're going to flip it over. And now you can have panels coming out this way. Who is paying for what? Okay, so the next thing we want to do, we still have, even with your kit, look at all these extra pages that we have left to embellish. So we could go back and fussy cut out some things and use them for embellishments, especially like this page. You've got this little flower we could use with the hummingbird, lots of extra stuff here, or we could save these and use them on another project. But I really love using my leftover scraps. So we're going to start off with our cover. In case I run out of time, everybody knows how to decorate everything else. So let's just work on the cover for now. We're going to start out with our toile fabric, and I only used a small portion of it. I really like the way the black looks up against all of this. So I was really excited when Suzanne gave it to me, because to me, look at how it just kind of pops up against this paper. And I love using cloth in my designs because it gives me another texture. Does everybody agree with that? Do you like using cloth? So I'm just going to kind of cut some of it off. And I probably cut it a little bit too thick. I don't measure anything. Measuring is for wimps. If you want something measured, don't ask me. Does anybody else feel that way? I hate to measure. Okay, so because I always get it wrong anyway. Okay, so I am going to encourage this toile to ravel, because to me the ravel adds to the texture, and I love it. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to try and keep my pieces together, and I am going to kind of, let's see, we'll just do one side at a time. I'm going to go right up to the edge of where this is cut at this angle, and I am going to, this is going to go behind our gate. I'm just going to literally put a strip of glue back and forth. Remember, this is about 2.5 inches wide, so you want enough glue to work with. Make sure your pattern of your toile is going in the right direction. And now watch this. I'm going to take and cinch this in the center so that it's pleated using hot glue. Did y'all see a needle and thread? No, you did not. I don't use needle and thread either. So now this is what we have. Isn't that cool? Y'all want to see it again? And then if you feel like it needs a little more security, you can always come back with a little more hot glue. Maybe at the top and the bottom. And see, we covered up a lot of that brick, but don't worry about that, because you know what? Texture is about things peekabooing. You want to see things peeking out here and there, and I kind of like the idea that it's not all the same. Now this piece is not going to be wide enough, but don't worry, we can use this on a tag if we need to. So I'm going to have to cut another strip really quick. And if you want, you could probably just take it and put a little snip in it and then pull it like this, and then it really does start to ravel out. See the raveling? Love it. Love it. Okay, again, we want to make sure we get it lined up at the same spot. I'm going to just put a lot of glue right in here. Do it fast because you don't want your glue to dry on you. If it does, just hit it with a heat tool. It'll heat it right back up again. Make sure your pattern's going in the right direction. And then here we go again, watch. I'm just going to cinch, 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 all the way down. See how easy that was? And we have a pleat. Trim off this extra. And then over time, this is just going to ravel. Especially if you do something like that and just pull at the fibers. Also, this end of this tool is excellent for doing stuff like this. You can just kind of rub it and it'll help to encourage it to ravel a little bit. I'm going to leave the strings because I happen to like the look, but for all you neat freaks out there, go ahead and trim them off if you want to. I think it adds character to it, and that's what I'm after. Okay, so here's our cover. Looks like this so far. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take, for those of you who got the kit, you got this beautiful daisies. Isn't this gorgeous? And I think my little garden needs to have some daisies running across the bottom, right there. And I'm just going to take a little bit of glue and see how I stretched it all the way across, even though that's, you know, we're going to clip that right there. Alright, then we're going to take, I'm going to take some of these little flourishes that we have, and I want them to be kind of up here. I want to be able to see those. And I think in the original one, I used a couple. So I'm going to put one on each side for now. I can always come back and fill in later with more if I need it. Remember, what you do to one side, you kind of want to do to the other. Just like that. And now I'm going to take my flowers, and I'm going to show you guys a neat little trick with the flowers. These are all flowers that came with the Rondelle collection. She just split these up for the kit. But I want to show you guys something. I think I've got a lot of black here, so I want to add some pink. So I'm going to take this flower and I'm going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to cut a leaf section out of it, just like that. So now I have this. But then I'm going to come back, fold it in half, and I'm going to snip in just a little bit right here. What this is going to do is make like a little palm frond. And I'm going to fold it up like this, wad it up, get it good and wadded up. And when you open it back up, it now has this kind of really tattered look to it, and it matches your album a little better. But what you've now done is you've got this piece left over that you can take, and if you cut just like a little swig like this, maybe trim this in just a little bit, you now have another leaf. So we're going to cut in on this one too. Or you have angel wings, whichever way you want to look at it. This could be the wings on a heart. See how cute that is? So I'm going to glue those down right here. And I'm going to take one of my little flowers and I'm going to put it here. Then on this one, I can take this and pull it back around like that. Again, snip, 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 snip. And it's going to go up here in this corner. And I think on this one, I have another green flower in here. I'm going to put that green flower up here in the top. Isn't it gorgeous? Now, we'll add our gate in a minute. Let's go ahead and go to the inside pieces. On the inside cover, I wanted to show you guys how to use some scraps. I know I'm pretty much getting out of time. Is everybody okay to continue on? What I want to do is I'm going to take a deco edge scissors. These have been in my stash for 100 years. And see, this is the pattern that's on them. See that pattern? These have been around forever. Now watch this. This is just a piece of scrap. Well, I don't want to use this one because it's the same. Let's use this one. This is a piece of scrap left over that we've cut apart. The reason I didn't want to use the other one was because it's the same pattern. And I'm just going to cut along this edge right here, just like this, with these deco edge scissors. And now I've got this. You see the edge? Now watch what happens. I'm going to come back up here with my craft knife, and I'm going to cut in about a ½ inch up. And then I'm going to come back, and between each peak and valley, I'm going to cut each one of these off. And I've now made a unique banner. Using the deco edge scissors that you thought you'd never use. Look at this. So this little banner is going to go across here, and I only need 4 of these. Whoops. Where'd they go? Look at this. How cute is that? And this is called using your scraps. And I'm just going to take a little piece of twine and anchor down my little banner with a little piece of twine. So I'm just going to tie a quick little bow. Just like you were tying your shoes. It's going to have a long tail because it's got to be the banner, like this. Then I'm going to put another little bow on the other end. Whoops. I'm trying to hurry because I know I'm over time now. Is everybody still okay? So now I have this cute little banner. Look at this. I'm going to glue him right here. Put a little bit of glue right here at the top of these little pieces. I'm going to start my center point, and I don't care that it's a little bit too big because I'm going to kind of squish them up and down to make them fit. I'm going to anchor this one down. I always start with my center point and work my way out. That way things end up even. Oops. That one did not want to stay. And I have another one in here somewhere. I know I do. What do I do with it? There it went. So did you guys see how I did that? Out of deckle edge scissors. And then I'm going to take like just a Sharpie, believe it or not. I'm going to type the word love, or I'm going to write the word love, L-O. Embrace your handwriting. Mine is terrible, trust me, but for something like this, it's perfect. And then, because nothing in this room goes to waste ever, I'm just going to take another color, a contrasting color of ink, and ink this up. Now this is where I'm going to get the ink all over everything. And I just grabbed a blue. I mean, really, I didn't pay that much attention to it. And I'm just going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take and cut a little snip on the inside and a snip to the side. So it's like right down the middle. Put a little bit of glue. And that's going to kind of come right here. See how it's all coming together? Y'all, I just glued my banner upside down. But that's okay, I can get it off. This is the danger of working upside down. But never fear, there are no mistakes in scrapbooking. There are only room for embellishment. Is that what Suzanne always says? There's room for embellishment. So all I'm going to do is put my banner right here. No worries. That's also the beauty of hot glue. Look at that. How cute. And I'll just take some of those little flowers. And work them down here. And on this side, I'm just going to take and duplicate the same thing. I'm just going to put a little flower over here, one of these little flowers here. These all came in the kit. Just like that. And now it's time to add our metal. So I have this little picture that's going to go right here. Just like that. Isn't that gorgeous? Then we've got a little flower, maybe to tuck right up here. This also closes off the visual triangle that we would have had, you know, with the flowers, the 3 flowers here. Got a cute little banner here. Now it's time to make some of our tags, and I'm just going to take all of these scraps that were leftovers from the little pointed edges that we cut off, and I'm going to cheat because I happen to have these little tags up here at the top. All I'm going to do is line them up. I'm going to cut the angle following the sample of the tag that I had in my hand. And now no scrap will be left unused. Put them all together, and also use your crocodile and cut a hole right there in the center. And now you have homemade tags that match all of your paper that will fit nicely down inside of here. Actually, I think I'm going to use the, where's the other, oh, I used it to make the banner. And let's see here. So then we've got this picture here. We're going to take, maybe dress it up a little bit more by using some more of this bling. How do you guys like it so far? And then this can go right in here. So you have some that poke up this way. And then on this side, we're going to go ahead and add our frame. And we have 2 of these little luggage tags that are also in the kit. Hit them with your Lindy's, dress them up. I'm going to put a couple of these little, I think this black one would look nice in here. Again, these leaves happen to be just a bit too big, so I'm going to try and use some of these smaller ones. If you happen to have the big ones in your kit, then all you have to do, like I said before, fold it in half. And now you have a smaller one. And we're going to put a little bit of glue here. And where did the other one go? I just had it. I can use this one. And it's going to go here. I love this paper. It's so beautiful. I'm going to take my bloomers. This is where it's going to soften it up just a little bit. I'm going to cut one of my bloomers off, kind of trim around them just a bit, get all that netting off of there. And I'm going to glue it right to the center of my tag. Look at how beautiful this is turning out. It's so soft and feminine. Now some netting comes in this kit too. And again, I'm just going to cut it into strips. The netting might be a little different if you order your kit after, you know, she sold out. But this one is gorgeous. And this I'm going to use is just some little ties on these smaller tags. So I just kind of made a little bow. And I'm going to glue these onto the smaller tags, and you're not going to really see them that well, but that's okay. It'll be there. It kind of helps to soften up a little bit. Gives another little bit of a texture. Isn't that gorgeous? And you can take this tool. Here's a tip for getting it straight. I don't know why I didn't do this first. Fold it as small as you can possibly cut it straight. but keep it as straight as you can, and then just snip like that, and now it's straight across the bottom. Makes it so much easier. I'm going to add a little bit to this one. This one I'm going to tie just in a knot because I want it to have a little bit of a different look to it. And I'm going to top it off. She gave you some of these cute little rosebuds. I'm going to put a couple of those in here too. You don't want to get the inside too bulky because it won't close. But I think these little rosebuds and things, they kind of help to add a little bit of a flower touch up at the top as well. Where did they go? Another thing I like to do with my scraps is I'm going to cut out some butterflies really fast. Everybody has butterfly punches. If you don't, they're an awesome investment and everybody needs one. And these butterflies also kind of help to add a little dimension to everything. They help to soften things up a little bit, especially on something like this where I've painted that bright turquoise. I don't know what I was thinking there. But these little teeny tiny butterflies will help to soften that, and I'll probably come back in and tone that down in a little bit. But look at how pretty our spread is now. And we've got room up here for a photograph, a nice photograph, but we're going to add, right here, we're going to add our frame. And the frame is actually going to give us the opportunity to highlight some journaling. This metal frame is included in the kit. I'm going to leave it open on one side, so if I decide later to come back and tuck in something, I can. I'm going to kind of come up a little bit on the page with it, and then I'm going to continue to decorate around it. So I'm going to take these little bloomer, the last bloomer that I have, I think I had 2 or 3 on that strip that comes with the kit. And I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to tuck in a couple of these leaves. And if you take this leaf and you pull it up in the center and then tuck it down, see how it gets a little bit of a dimension to it? Put a little glue there on the top. Cinch it kind of like you do, like I did with the I'm going to take a couple of these. And take one over here on this side. And maybe one over here on this side. So this is what we have so far. This is going to come down like this. We have these little tags. We need to take these tags and I need to create 2 more tags to go right here. They're going to stick up on this side. But before I do, I have a little bit more lace trim that I want to include maybe on this side. And that's this lace. It also comes in the kit. And I'm just going to put it right over the top of this, just like this, so that when this is closed down, it peeks through from the other side. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to just put a little bit of glue right here. And I like to do it in small sections, and I like to start my lace kind of off a little bit so that I can trim it. Again, I'm not worried about it raveling, because even if it ravels, that adds to the texture a little bit. And then as far as like getting a good clean look on this other side, I got people tapping at me on the other side at the window. You could come back in. I love to double up my lace. I don't know if I want to do that tonight on this. It might be prettier down at the bottom, or it might be pretty just on the tag. Sometimes I like to leave some of these embellishments for whenever I decide to add pictures, because some of these things might look great going around the picture. This bling might be a little bit too high, but so we're going to come back in here. We're almost done, guys, I promise. Oops, going the wrong way, Tonya. This is me live, let me tell you. This is how I am in my room whenever I'm creating too. It's rip it up, put it back down. Rip it up, put it back down. I was so nervous about doing things live because I was like, oh my goodness, what if I make a mistake? They'll know I'm human after all. This is such a cute little mini. Cute mini. And then all I'm doing is I'm just snipping right here where these two, you know, right in the crease there so that that comes together better. And there we go. All we have to do now is make a couple of little embellishments for our tags that are sticking out. And I'm just going to take, these are some Fab Scrap little baubles. And I'm just going to kind of glue them to the tops of my tags just to give my tag a little something. And if it overspills like that, I have these little toothpicks. I just peel it off before it dries. You can also hit it with a heat gun and it'll come back up again. Then I'm just going to take another little one, maybe a couple of little ones in this soft pink color, and put them on either side. This serves two purposes. One, it decorates it, and the other, it also will keep the tag from falling down into the hole. See how cute that is? And it just slides right into this little pocket. Look at how adorable that is. Now we need one for this side, and I think I used the other one that looks just like it in here. So I'm going to cut another one really fast out of the leftover paper. And since that one was predominantly pink, I think I'm going to go with this one. If you have the die cuts that do the tags, by all means go that route. It would probably be smarter. And since I'm gonna put these little things on there, I'm not gonna cover them up. I'm not gonna punch the hole in this one. These tags are awesome place for embellishment. I mean for journaling. I'm the worst about journaling. I do it, but I don't put a lot of detail. And you would think I'm so detail minded that I would, but I really don't. And this goes right here, just like this. And now it's time for our gate. See how cute this is? And I still have all these extra supplies here. So there's plenty of supplies here. If you decide you want to go back and add some more flowers after you add your pictures and kind of do some layering around, then you definitely have enough space to do that. And so for the final touch, it is the gate and this little bauble charm. And what I did was I took this is one of those little Prima bauble charms, and in your kit you also get a little garment pin and the gate. And then I wove the gate, I wove the ribbon through the gate. This is how I did it. I went over the top into the first hole, skipped the second hole, and come out the third hole. And I love, love, love how this gives me the opportunity to keep this particular lace. It's very thin, so you can still keep the integrity of the gate itself. You still can see through it, but it helps to soften it just a little bit, and it's an unexpected way to put this gate on. Now, you could go ahead and glue the gate here, but do not glue the gate going all the way around, because if you do, then you're not going to be able to open your book. And also, if you glue one side, don't glue the other side down, because that, again, you don't want to close your book completely up. And also make sure your gates are going in the right direction, like that one was not. I put it on backwards. This working upside down is challenging me today. So if you go this way, come all the way around. Like this. And then you're going to go inside. And then back out here. And then I just attach the bobble to the gate with the pin. And I'm just going to pull it, and then that's going to not, be careful, don't rip your lace. And then you're just going to knot this together in the center, and there you have your little mini. Now, a couple of things we didn't do because we ran out of time was you have a lot of other embellishments. So use those embellishments when you decide that you want to do your mini. You know, make sure you use those embellishments up around your pictures. A lot of times with these kits like this, if I used every single stitch in the kit on camera, then, you know, when you did put your pictures in, your pictures would just look so flat. Use those to layer up around your pictures so that your pictures look like they kind of come together with the rest of the mini. Does that make sense? And there you go. So there's our little mini for tonight. Look at how beautiful it is. It would make an awesome Christmas gift. It really would. And I'm sorry, guys, I ran 30 minutes over. I'm really sorry. But there was a lot of detail in this one. And then let's look at the whole picture, make sure I didn't forget anything. So we open it up like this, and like I said, it was super cute Christmas gift. It's going to open this way. See the beautiful pictures that we have? You have plenty of room right here for journaling. You could stick a small photograph right here. This mini is perfect for your Instagram pictures. Perfect for Instagram pictures. And see, you have some right here. There's tons of texture in here too, because you have the cloth, you have the media, you have the metal, you have the paper flowers, you have paper. And see, then it opens up like this, and you have plenty of room here for another nice size photograph here, a photograph here, and photographs here. And then you also have plenty of room on this side for photographs and journaling, and the same thing here for photographs and journaling. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to stick around for some more questions if anybody has any.